All right, hi. My name's Chad, and I think Omar is here. Omar, are you there?
Sorry, yeah,
All
hello,
right.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Sorry, I was muted. Again, always happens. But anyways, yeah, hi guys, my name's Omar. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully everyone can hear me now. And today we're just gonna be going over some sports and fitness related stuff at U of T and St. Mike's, along with Chad with me here. Yeah, okay.
So if you guys have any questions, you can just ask them after the presentation or throw it in, and one of us will try to get to them in the chat.
Yeah, and if I'm ever lagging or if you can't hear me, just literally spam the chat. Just be like, oh, can't hear, you're lagging. So hopefully we can get that fixed. Okay, so um, we wanted to start off this presentation with a quick would you rather game. So let me see if I can do it from here. I think I can set up a poll. So the would you rather is, would you rather A, quarantine but with sports? So basically the situation right now, you can quarantine, watch sports, play sports, but you can't really go out. You have to like stay in. Or would you rather no quarantine but no sports whatsoever? Like sports leagues are not returning for like the next year or something. Okay, so I'm gonna set up a poll, um, and you can vote on the poll. Okay, let me know if you can see it. Let's see. Oh wow.
Sorry, I had a question. So in option B, no quarantine, no sports, is it only like professionally you won't be able to watch sports or like no sports, like you can't play either?
Yeah, you can't play either.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. So we've got an overwhelming response for A, which is good because this whole workshop is about sports and fitness, and I love seeing people that are into sports. Okay. Okay, yeah. So let me show you guys the responses. It was 13 to 2. Um, okay, anyways, that was a bit fun, but so we're gonna start off today's workshop by talking about intramurals. So the agenda is what are intramurals, the intramural sports that are available at St. Mike's, the COVID-19 updates, how to join intramurals, and other intramural resources. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to discuss about what are intramurals because I remember in my first year coming in, I didn't even know what the word intramurals meant. So basically what an intramural sports is, or intramural sports in general, include leagues, tournaments, and sports events organized within U of T, where colleges, faculties, and divisions get to compete against one another. So, for example, we're all representing St. Michael's College, right? So we would get to play against New College, Innis College, University College, Victoria College, Trinity, Woodsworth, um, and it's a pretty competitive league, um, and it's definitely a good way to make friends, have fun, and add to your university experience.
And also to add, you can also play for your faculty as well. For example, I'm in Rotman Commerce, and sometimes in a league, the faculty and your college will have a team. So you can play for either or both if the league allows for it.
Okay, so what are the intramural sports that are available at St. Michael's College? Now, this list is sort of based on previous years, the teams that we tended to have, um, at St. Michael's College. So I just, first of all, make a distinction between leagues and tournaments. So leagues are sort of like happen throughout the semester. And they're with sports that are like basketball, soccer, volleyball, hockey, and that stuff. And then tournaments are sort of happen over a shorter time span. So maybe it would be like a quick tournament over a few days, or even a 1 day tournament. So what's available? Um, Historically tended to be basketball, and there's a co-ed team, a men's team, and a women's team. Soccer with co-ed men's and women's, volleyball with co-ed men's and women's, ice hockey as well with co-ed men's and women's. Then we have lacrosse, field hockey, dodgeball, ultimate frisbee, water polo, and then there's badminton, kickball, table tennis, floor hockey, cricket, or weightlifting. So there's a lot. And if you play a sport that's not on this list, we can definitely suggest it to the students union at St. Mike's, and we can definitely set up a team for that. So there is a lot of opportunity and a lot of sports for you to play. And even within each of these leagues, there are separate divisions. So for example, let's take men's soccer, the men's soccer league, for example. There's a St. Michael's Division 1 team. There's a St. Michael's Division 2 team, a Div 3 team. So it's just sort of based on skill level where you're comfortable playing. And again, they're all competitive. Um, I've had a chance to play in Div 1 and 2, and they're sort of competitive, and it just depends on your skill level where you're comfortable playing. And as well, there are open divisions within most of these leagues. And open divisions is basically you can set up a team with your friends and play with your friends. And there will be more information about that.
Uh, sorry, I'm just going to answer Benson's question really quick. So would there be tryouts or just sign up for whatever you want? In my experience with hockey,
Yeah,
it depends on whoever's running the team. Because, for example, like you'd have to rent the ice in order to hold tryouts. And Intramurals doesn't really have a budget, so to speak. So a lot of the time, it's just sign up, in my experience.
yeah, and we'll speak about the process in literally a few slides coming up.
Mm. Yeah,
Okay.
change the slide.
Yeah, next slide. So just before we get into the whole process, I wanted to put up like what the COVID-19 updates, the obvious. So this is actually taken from the U of T website themselves. So unfortunately, they announced that for the fall semester, intramural sports programs will be canceled. However, they still did not confirm what the status of the winter season will be. So let's hope that, we can get back to playing some intramurals and some in-person sports by the winter semester. But if not, then obviously there's next year, the year after. But for the fall semester specifically, instead of the in-person leagues, there will be esports leagues. And when we get closer to the beginning of the fall semester, they're gonna announce like what sort of esports are available. So there usually tends to be FIFA, Madden, 2K, and stuff like that. Okay, next. Okay, so how to join an intramural sports team. So this is in the case that intramural sports are to be resumed in the winter semester. So the process usually goes something like this. So St. Michael's College will designate upper year captains for each team prior to the commencement of the winter semester. Then the captains will schedule tryouts if needed. So for larger sports like soccer, basketball maybe, ice hockey, there will be tryouts, and registration info and links will be posted on socials or emailed to you at the beginning of the semester. And I will go over some resources to show you like where you can check on those updates. So then once the tryouts happen, you can attend the tryouts, and then the captains will pick players for their teams after tryouts. And then from there on, they're going to provide information on how to join, which includes stuff like there's a website called imleagues.com, where the captain will, if you make it on the team, the captain will explain how to join on there. It's pretty cool. It's basically a website where you can see the schedule, the upcoming matches, and stuff like that. But again, that's sort of later on. And the last step is to have fun playing and bring home some trophies for St. Mike's, obviously. You know, we're a really competitive college. We like to win a lot of competitions that we're against other colleges, you know, vet races and stuff like that. So definitely if we can take home a few dubs from sports, we'd love that. Um, all right, and then these are some of the resources that I mentioned previously. So if you want sort of general updates on intramurals at U of T in general, be sure to check out the University of Toronto Intramurals page on Facebook and U of T Intramurals on Instagram, as well as the official intramural website, which is kpe.utoronto.ca/intramurals. And for more sort of St. Mike specific stuff, make sure to follow SMCSU Athletics on Instagram. And I'm sure that's where a lot of the tryouts information will be posted, with the times, the location of the tryouts, and all that stuff. So again, the Instagram is SMCSU Athletics. And then there's an IM Leagues app and an IM Leagues website, and as I mentioned, those are sort of later on when you get to joining the team, and you know, when you're starting the new season, it just helps you see your schedule and stuff like that, and the captain of the team that you're joining will definitely go over that stuff with you.
Right, yeah. Leagues will post game times, when and where you play, and the roster of other teams in your team as well. So it just helps keep everything coordinated. So I'm going to touch on varsity athletics at U of T. So these are all of the teams in athletics offered at U of T for men and women. As you can see, there are a lot of teams. All of the info for each individual varsity team can be found at the website at the bottom, www.varsityblues.ca. So all of the varsity teams do hold open tryouts. I've had friends over the years walk onto the lacrosse team and the rugby team, so it is possible. But for the bigger teams like hockey and golf, typically high school students or students in general get typically recruited, and it's more difficult to walk on these teams just because of the skill level required to play. So earlier this month, it was announced that all OUA sanctioned events and games would be canceled for the fall semester until December 31st, or the 21st rather, which is the end of the school year, regardless of whether or not the COVID-19 situation improves. So indefinitely, everything is canceled until the end of the fall term. Tentatively, it's expected to resume in January 2021. And there was a Q&A session held. It's on the Varsity Blues website. The link's at the bottom there, but a couple of highlights are there may be a possibility for the fall term sports to be continued during the winter, but it's still undecided, and it's up for the OUA and for the U Sports board members to decide. So sad, but. And finally, the varsity rewards. So in previous years, students have been able to register online for varsity rewards, which is basically a rewards program that allocates points for attending U Sports events and allows you to redeem U of T apparel with these points. So typically attending one game would award 3 points, with season openers and special games awarded double points or extra points. And there's even surveys after the game that award points. So prices have ranged in previous years from socks and t-shirts for 20 and 30 points to hoodies and bags from the U of T store for 90 and 100 points. So it's definitely a good thing to go out there and support your Varsity Blues. Sorry, Omar, I think you muted your mic. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying on the
There we
topic
go. Yeah.
merch and stuff like that. This is a St. Michael's College intramural shirt that I got a jersey while we were playing soccer. So again, for a lot of the sports at St. Mike's, they do provide like sort of jerseys for you to wear and stuff like that. So it is really cool. It comes with a lot of perks too. So anyways, moving on from that, now I'm going to be discussing the gyms and the sports fields that are available on campus, and this is just a generic map of sort of where they're all located. They kind of look close to each other. So, okay, yeah, let's go to the first one. Um, all right, next slide.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so the first gym that's available on campus, or sort of bigger than a gym actually, is called the Athletic Center. Now, this is actually one of like the older athletic centers at U of T, um, and it has a lot of facilities. So in terms of gyms and courts, it has a sports gym, an upper gym, a lower gym, and a field house that has a lot of strength and cardio equipment. There's a strength and conditioning center, and there's a squash and table tennis courts. And sort of for this gym specifically, I've been to it quite a few times. And if you're sort of looking to work out with more cables and machines and stuff like that, it definitely has a lot of those machines rather than free weights, but it does also have free weights. And in terms of pools, it has two pools. So it has a varsity pool that's an 8-lane Olympic-sized pool, as well as the Benson pool, which is a bit smaller. It's 6 lanes and 25 yards. Along with the pools, there's also multi-purpose and fitness facilities. So there's a dance studio, a fencing salle, and a pedal zone. So a lot of, you can play a lot of intramurals there. A lot of varsity trainings would happen there, just depending on what facilities are available. Okay, and then the next one, which sort of looks way nicer, and it's from the outside because it's newer, I guess. You can see the picture right there. Looks really cool, has a really nice view. It's called the Goldring Center for High Performance, or we just call it Gold for short. So Goldring is basically a multi-story sport and exercise facility, housing a 2,000 seat field house for basketball, volleyball, and other court sports. So there is a basketball court there where the basketball varsity team at U of T plays all their games. It's pretty cool, as well as the volleyball. The volleyball team play there as well. And there's a really nice, nice seating and stuff like that where you can go and watch games. All you need to do is show your T card, and you can, enter the court and watch the game. Now, it also, other than that main court, it also has a strength and conditioning center. This is sort of like another gym. However, what I've been to that gym a few times as well, and what I noticed is that it's sort of more like free weights, bars, benches, and stuff like that. So if you're looking to do that type of working out, then definitely Goldring is the place to go. Um, and then along with that, there's a fitness studio and a sports medicine clinic where you can go in. It's on the second floor, and if you have any sports related injuries, you can get them checked out. Now, I believe that this is also covered by UHIP and OHIP, so you can go to them, drop in if you ever feel like you got injured playing the sports or whatever, and they will check that out for you. And then along with that, there are some research and teaching labs at Goldring. And sort of, I think the hours for those gyms right now, I see a lot of people talking. So we're sort of unsure about what they're going to be looking like for the fall and whether these gyms are going to be open um, and sort of for how many people. So I guess for that, we're just going to have to wait and see. I just didn't want to give some generic timings, maybe because they might change them. So hopefully it'll be clear. Okay, so right in front of Goldring Center, right next to Goldring Center is the Varsity Center and Arena. So this is basically an outdoor pitch where a lot of the soccer, where the varsity soccer team plays, the varsity football team plays, and many other sports. And then it's definitely very big. It's a 5,000 seat stadium with an 8-lane track and an artificial playing field. Um, And what's really, really cool about this field is that during the winter time, when it gets cold and snowy and everything, as you can see faintly on the picture, they put a dome, an inflatable dome over the over the field. And basically, it just allows it to be used in the winter for intramural sports, for training, practice, drop-in, and all that stuff. So it is pretty sick. It's pretty warm inside, and that's if you're wondering how you can play soccer and all that stuff in the winter, that's how they do it. Yeah, the bubble. So along with the pitch, the outdoor field, there's also an ice rink, an indoor ice rink with seats as well, and that's sort of where a lot of the ice hockey intramurals happen, and I believe that's where the varsity ice hockey team plays their games. Yeah. Okay, so next up we have the back campus fields. Now these are just two synthetic turf fields that are used for a lot of different sports like field hockey, soccer, ultimate, and lacrosse. So from my experience, those two outdoor turf courts are where the fall soccer intramurals happens, just because the weather is pretty nice and you can play outdoors. But definitely field hockey is played there, lacrosse and ultimate frisbee. And the really cool thing about those is that they can be used recreationally during non-programmed activity times. So you don't have to book them or whatever. You can, if there's no one like using the field at a particular time, you can literally grab a ball, go with a few friends, and you know, like start kicking it around, and it is really fun. And then lastly, we have the Hard House Fitness Center. So the Hard House in general is sort of a building with a lot of classrooms where a lot of your tutorials are going to be and stuff like that. But what's cool is that there is also a gym in Hart House, and it has a lot of facilities too. So it has a pool, a basketball court, a squash court, a gym with free weights and cardio equipment, a running track, and then some of the programs and classes they offer are group cycling, wellness programs, consultation, personal training, small group training, functional trainings, drop-in classes, and a lot of other stuff. For all the programs and classes, I think currently what's cool and what I think they're going to do for the fall is that they're going to offer a lot of their programs online, um, which is really cool. But hopefully later on, all these programs and classes will start up again that you can sign up for, join in as a U of T student.
So I'm going to touch base on the fitness clubs and groups that are available at not just SMC, but at U of T in general. So the first link is the Faculty of Kinesiology and Physical Education website that has a drop-in sports schedule that are coordinated by the physical activity facilitator. So usually they'll run drop-in soccer, ultimate frisbee, flag football, etc. The schedule isn't posted now because for the fall term, I believe that they are canceled until everything opens back up again for sports. But that's typically where you find the drop-in schedule. And the ULife link is it's a directory where if you filter the search by athletics and recreation, it pulls up a large list of clubs and groups that should appeal to everybody's interests. They even have Quidditch. So when I did it myself, I think it pulled up like 80 clubs. So there's like esports, a whole bunch of dance clubs, running clubs, workout clubs, bodybuilding clubs, sailing, dragon boating, figure skating clubs. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can look at. So on the directory, it'll give the club organizer's name, their contact info, and how to join or apply to the club. And yet, like Sienna said, dragon boating is very popular. What type of dance clubs? There was a whole bunch. I'm not a dancer myself, but jazz, contemporary, the whole lot. So there's a whole bunch to look from. You can just look them up on the ULife directory.
Okay, and sort of the last the last thing we wanted to talk about was how to stay active while you're studying and all that stuff. So a lot of these tips are gonna be like sort of for pertaining to when we might be returning to campus, but I'll also mention a few stuff that can help you stay active with online classes and stuff like that. Um, so the first tip I have is to walk, walk, walk. So specifically, what I mean about that is that a lot of your classes sort of might be a certain distance away from each other. They could be a 10-minute walk, a 15-minute walk. So, I mean, instead of taking the TTC, and especially in these times, if you're on campus, I'd say just walk. Um, I'm not sure if you're aware, but usually we have this thing called U of T time where um, basically all classes start 10 minutes after the hour. So it sort of gives you some time to get from one class to another, um, and hopefully, um, you know, you can sort of walk from there to there, or even like getting off at a TTC station that's, a bit far away from your class, just to kind of force yourself to walk to the building or something like that. And on the topic of walking, if you're not from downtown or if you're not really familiar with the campus, I'd say go and explore, the campus and downtown. Um, even if your classes aren't in person, um, this next semester, I'm pretty sure if you're close to downtown Toronto and you're comfortable with going down, you can explore the campus, see where all the buildings are, just to prepare yourself for sort of the winter semester, for the year after that, and stuff like that. So another tip I have is to take active study breaks. So what I used to do sometimes would be what are called the library gym library. So the cool thing about the location of libraries and gyms is that there usually is a gym located close to um, whichever library you're at. It's usually sort of like a 5 to 10 minute walk, and you can be studying in the library and take a break, go to the gym, work out for like an hour or so, and then get back to the library if you'd like, or even just while taking study breaks, just walking around, um, and getting back to it. And then, as I mentioned, a great, great way to stay active and engaged with the community is to join an intramural team. So hopefully in the winter semester, um, let's hope that it'll be back. And then drop-in sports as well, as Chad mentioned. And then this one is sort of more pertaining to our current situation with the whole social distancing and in-person classes. So a lot of the fitness centers at U of T right now are running virtual exercise classes. So if you go on the Heart House U of T website, you're gonna see that they are offering a lot of virtual classes. If you go on the KPE website, which is the Kinesiology and Physical Education faculty at U of T, they are also offering a lot of online exercise classes. So feel free to join into those. As a U of T student, I'm pretty sure that you have access to most, if not all of those, for free. All you need to do is just, find them, sign up, and, have fun, exercise a bit. And then, yeah, hopefully by winter and by next year, we can start, doing a lot of intramurals and drop-in. And yeah, hopefully those are some tips to help you stay active. If you have other ideas to go ahead, do stay active, and yeah, I think that's all we have. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too boring. Um, and then if you guys have any questions, let us know in the chat. Um, and we will answer them. Oh, the Kahoot. Sienna, when are we doing the Kahoot?
We can do the Kahoot at the end. Maybe if you guys want to ask Omar and Chad any questions about their experience because they've both played sports at SMC and at U of T, we can take questions for like 10 minutes and then do the Kahoot at 11:45.
hmm
Unless there are no questions at all.
If you guys don't have a question, if you don't mind me asking, I want to see what sports are you guys sort of interested in playing, or do you have like a main sport that you like? So personally for me, I love playing soccer. It's sort of the intramural sport that I've been really active in. So soccer, Ryan, yeah, nice, nice, saying nice.
Fencing, that's so cool. Lawn
Oh,
tennis.
lawn tennis.
Pick up basketball, basketball and volleyball, volleyball and frisbee. What's the process of trying out for a varsity team?
Chad, you wanna go ahead and answer that? Chad? So I think Chad mentioned earlier for varsity teams.
Omar, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Can you guys hear me? So the process for varsity teams is usually open tryouts that you can join in.
Sorry, yeah, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, yeah. So I've had friends walk onto lacrosse and rugby, and typically it looks like I believe the coach's either phone number or email is posted on the Varsity Blues website, and so is the open tryout information. And you can reach out to the coach and inquire about an open tryout, or the open tryout that's posted, and try out for the team.
So
yeah, varsity. Yeah, Omar, you can answer that.
Yeah, so varsity teams represent UFT as a whole. So if you're playing in varsity, you're going to play against other universities. So you're going to play against like McMaster, Queens, and that's for example. And intramurals is within UFT itself. So you're going to play against the UFT colleges. So that's sort of the distinction there with intramurals and varsity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if you go to that website that I dropped in the chat a little earlier, varsityblues.ca, and you go to Inside Athletics, there's a tab under Recruits that says Open Tryouts, and right now that article says that the fall programming is canceled, but I believe usually that's where they'll post about what open tryouts are and like where they'll be and what sports it is.
Mm-hmm. No, precisely, yes. That's where it's typically posted. Like I attended the varsity hockey open tryout, and they had just posted on the website that they had a skate at this date at this time, and you just show up and you meet the coach and you try out for the team. That's pretty much it.
Yep, and if any of you are like less interested in like playing sports but really like watching them, you can also join the Blue Crew, which is through the University of Toronto Student Union, and they basically have volunteer opportunities for you to like help out with varsity games and like different sports, and you get co-curricular credit for it. So if you just like being spirited, you can also join that. And then Chad and Omar Maria asked, what would a typical tryout look like?
Well, I can't speak for all of the sports because I don't have much experience with all of the sports, but for hockey, it was just they had a 2-hour skate where they would run drills. So I would imagine it would be the same for any other tryout. I don't think, unless they have enough people showing up to run a scrimmage. But for soccer, basketball, I'd imagine they would just run skill testing drills and maybe a scrimmage at the end.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Um, I didn't actually do attend varsity tryouts for soccer, but I can speak for intramural tryouts. And again, depending on who the coach is or the captain that sets it up, I'd say it's usually also pretty much the same thing. A few drills, you play a game, play a few games, and what's cool is that at the tryout itself, I remember when I was trying out for the soccer intramural team at St. Mike's, there was the Div 1 captain there, the Div 2 captain there as well, and other captains. So it's sort of like they can sort of split you up based on your skill level. And again, that just shows like there's always a team for you to play in. So it's nice. It might seem nerve-wracking, but at the end of the day, it's really fun.
Yeah, no, like Ryan said in the chat, in all sports, it is extremely difficult to walk onto the varsity team because they already have almost a full roster of recruits. So when they hold open tryouts at max, maybe they only have 1 or 2 spots for the teams that get recruited for.
Yeah.
Sports broadcasting for varsity, I believe they have people that are paid for that. I don't think it's like professional people that are paid for that. I'm not too sure though.
To anyone thinking of trying out for the varsity, even if they do have a lot of spots filled by recruits already, I would just say that you never know until you try. So even if you go, like, I think it's a good experience to try out for the team, even if you don't make it. And then maybe you can see what the skill level of the players that they do have, and you can like work towards getting to that level. And then you can always join intramurals, so you can practice with intramurals to get ready for varsity.
Intramurals is always a good time. I've had so much fun at intramurals, and the majority of my friends from school I've met through intramurals. Like I would say, even if you're not good at a sport or you don't do a sport, like please just sign up. It's so much fun.
Totally agree with that. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you can enter a team and like there'll be people there who will help you learn.
Yeah. And some divisions are like pretty competitive. So like soccer Div 1 intramurals is pretty competitive, but then you have sort of like it goes down to like Div 2, Div 3. Co-ed is really fun as well. So the thing about divisions is that with intramural sports, you can play for one division at a time. But the good thing is that you can play, let's say, if you're in men's Div 1 soccer, you can also play on the co-ed team. And it's really fun. And if you're sort of like other way around, if you're on the women's Div 1 team, you can also play for the co-ed team. So yeah, there is a lot of opportunities. I think that I caught a question earlier, which college wins most sports in intra? I mean, it makes sense. I'd probably say the KPE, kinesiology and physical ed, just because sort of that's what they do. But we've St. Mike's has won a few trophies. I remember last season we played in soccer. We got to the finals, but unfortunately we couldn't take it home from the finals. But we're coming back stronger, and it's really fun. And something cool about intramurals as well is that they actually like give you a trophy, and they also give you a T-shirt that says like intramural champion 2020 or something like that. We lost to Chestnut, I believe, or yeah, it was a really strong team, unfortunately, but well, I mean, it's all fun. It was still fun though.
I believe Benson asked a question. Do intramurals have regular practices or just games? Mostly just games, because most of the fields and or ice arenas for hockey are booked, but some captains may opt to hold practices on back campus in people's free times. That's not mandatory to attend practice for intramurals. They're not going to kick you off the team if you're not going to practice.
Yeah, that's right. That's the right thing. Oh, and there was a question about playoffs. So, okay, so intramurals for the leagues. So they're usually throughout the beginning of the semester, there's a league, there's different tables and stuff like that, different groups, and you compete within your group in the league. So like group A, group B, C, D, and depending on the sport. And then after sort of the leagues and the point system happens, from the league, you can advance to a playoffs. And then basically the playoffs is sort of like a bracket system. And yeah, that's how they determine the winner. So it's not just like a league, it's a league. And then from the league, that's how they determine who advances to the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they cancel it for the fall, but there's always like winter.
There's always
another
hope for
year,
winter.
fall after
Always
that.
hope.
Yeah. Let me see if there are any other questions. So for intramural tryouts, so again, for a lot of the sports, depending on how many people want to play, there will be there might be tryouts, and you might need to be picked by the captain. But then for a lot of the other sports that sort of don't have as many like numbers, and there isn't like a limit on like who can play, you can just speak to the captain, and there might not be like a formal tryout session or something like that, and you can just join in. So again, I'd say it just depends on the sport, it depends on the captain.
All right. If that's it, should we get the Kahoot started? Are there any martial arts? Yeah, actually, when I was doing the athletic and recreation search on the ULife directory, I believe I saw a judo club, and I know there is a martial arts gym at St. Mike's. Omar, it's where the front office is, right in Elmsley.
Yeah.
If you walk down the
Yeah,
stairs
yeah.
there, it'd be on the right. I've seen it before. There's
Yeah,
like
there is.
kickboxing and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
in there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there is one. Yeah.
There's taekwondo as well. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
There are like so many clubs. There's even like I know there's kendo and like a few others. Yeah, Fiona mentioned kendo as well.
Yeah.
Alrighty. If there's no other questions, I can share screen for the Kahoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can just stop sharing my screen. There we go.
Can you see? Is it working?
Not yet.
Alrighty. I'm gonna
Oh,
stop
there we go.
recording.